Right, I know this video is going to improve your game. This is some content that I've shared with my online clients. I'm going to be covering all aspects of the game. Make sure you subscribe. This playlist is going to cover everything from driving to how you should practice to short game. So make sure you hit that button and I'll speak to you later. Afternoon, evening, morning subscribers, hope you are well. So a little bit of extra content for you guys. Obviously really appreciate your support, and if there's any way that I can obviously not only help you individually but a few little tips here and there, then I'm obviously more than welcome to do so. Had someone ask me about Aimpoint. So this is the ideas behind a putting method that you might have seen probably realistically on tour, where you've got the guys doing all this with their fingers. So I want to explain what that is and how it works, and maybe how you can translate that into your own game if it's of interest, if you're struggling to read the greens or feel what the slope is doing in terms of the putts. So the idea behind it is using the feeling of the degrees of slope. So you might see some of the guys, if I've got a putt here, and you'll see the guys that will no doubt crouch behind, have a little look, and then they sort of stand in the middle of the hole. Obviously the line where they're intending to is in between, and they're just sort of standing here. Now sometimes you even see them with their eyes closed, but basically they're trying to feel the pressure of what foot is lower. Now on this particular putt that I've picked, I can definitely feel that my left foot is a little bit lower. I'm definitely on a slightly right to left breaking putt. Now to really do this properly, you ideally need a spirit level that can show you the degrees of how much it is, because the idea behind it is, generally speaking, you will either have a 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, or 4 degrees of slope. Don't often get more than, say, 4 degrees unless it's very, very severe, but somewhere between 1 and 4. Now this is where the fingers come into play. So the idea behind it is you would stand in the middle of your putt where you are feeling the slope. And yes, I can feel that my left foot is lower, I feel more pressure. It's definitely a right to left putt. Then I've got to decide roughly what I think the degree of slope is. Now, it's not something I've used for a very long period of time. I have done it in the past. I was just sort of trained in the idea behind it. I even used to have a little spirit level. So when I played a bit more competitively, it was something that I did. So I've guessed that it's about a 1 degree of slope. Now, if I think that, I'm gonna put one finger in front of me. I'll explain where to put it in a minute. If I thought it was a 2 degrees of slope, 2 fingers, 3 fingers for 3, and 4 for 4. Now the idea behind it is you stand behind the golf ball and you put, I'm saying it's 1 finger because I think it's a 1 degree slope. I cover the hole, I close one of my eyes and I cover half the hole with one part of my finger, and then the other side of my finger is where I aim. So my aim point is the outside of my finger to the, on this case, to the right of the hole. So I'm not sure how you'll be able to hear me, but if I stand over here. The other thing that needs to consider is how fast the green is. So if it was a very slow green, then I stand quite close to the ball. If the green is quite fast, I stand a bit further away. So I'm going to guess at this sort of speed. Now, I decided it was a 1 degree of slope. I cover half the hole with my finger, and then the other side of my finger is my aim point. Now, I clearly obviously have adjusted this beforehand, but I've put a T in the ground. So I think using my aim point method, that I need to start my ball on the tee, and I think it's a 1 degree of slope and it will curve into the hole. A little secret, I'm yet to hold this putt. I have had a couple of goes. I think I'm in the right sort of track. I think it's me, it's not the slope, or I've just miscalculated. So the idea behind it, stand in between halfway, get a feel of pressure, whether I'm left low, right low, then work out obviously how severe. So I think this is not too bad. So I think it's a 1 degree of slope. I'm going to put 1 finger in the air, I close one eye, I cover half the hole with one side, and then the other side is obviously the other position. And then in theory, that's my aim point. If I get the right speed, then the ball's going to go in the hole. It is a method that is generally correct. If you understand the slope and you can work out the speed, etc., then it's nailed down. I think like Adam Scott is probably the most famous professional on tour that probably uses this sort of method. Should we give it a go? Honestly, I've not held the putt yet, so So, gone through my method. One finger, half the hole, outside that tee. If I get the right speed. Now, in fact, if I do it properly, just be using my line. Okay. So line is pointing at the tee. That's my aim point. Now I've just got to try and get the right speed and hit the ball in a straight line. Honestly, it's the first time I've held the putt, genuinely. So that's it. That's pretty much, there you go. It's just like that. Please just do that all the time. You hold every putt. So that's what Aimpoint is. If you've ever wondered, that's what it is. Whether you're basically working out slope through your feet, then you are working out whether it's a 1, 2, 3 or 4 degrees of slope. ID, that's why you need one of those spirit levels that have the electronics, so it'll actually tell you. And that's obviously then when you go to a practice green, you would lay it on the ground so it would tell you, and then you would feel, okay, well that's a 2 degree of slope. Okay, that's a 3 degree of slope. I can feel that. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, basically. It's a method not for everyone. Obviously you don't see every guy on tour doing it, so there is probably flaws to it. I think some people think it takes too much time, but if you're not too sure when you've crouched down and you've looked at the line, you're like, I have no clue what this is doing. Trying to feel slope in your feet is a good way of doing it, and especially just closing your eyes while you're feeling, that can definitely help you out. It may just give you a little bit of comfort that yes, it is a right to left, so I've got to aim right of the hole, or left to right, etc. I hope that helps. I hope I've explained it correctly and that you can understand me. Of course, if you have any questions about it, feel free to fire away. And as always, if you want me to look at your putting individually, please just do face on, down the line, let me know some details, send it over, and I will give you as much support and advice as I can. Apart from that, the sun's out. I've got 3 hours of junior coaching to do. Hope you're all very well, and yeah, speak to you all soon.